We're live? Okay, we're live. Hi everyone, I'm David, Syndicates Manager at Funderbeam. I'm joined today by Remo Rattur, CEO of Silverticket. And we're basically going to have a sort of Q&A session discussion talking about Silverticket, their progress on the platform, but also the story behind Silverticket, where it came from, sort of how did that form. So we have a live audience that's joining us, and you can write questions. Either if you're on Join Me, you can leave your questions there. If you're on Facebook, you can also write them there, and we'll be happy to answer those. Starting very quickly, Remo, so talking about Silverticket, so what's the story behind Silverticket? How did the company form, and how did the idea originate?
A few years ago, I was walking on Broadway, and I saw lots of street traders selling tickets to the event starting in just a few hours or at the same evening. So, and then I thought that, all right, this is like a secondary market.
Mm-hmm.
What if we could put this thing into a mobile phone and enable people to buy those tickets in just one click? And as I saw that the traders were actually trading or trying to sell the tickets as expensive as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and they were optimizing price, then I thought that, oh, maybe we could actually sell these tickets with a dynamic pricing, just like hotels or airplanes does.
Okay, so the dynamic pricing is really kind of this crucial element when it comes to the application that you're developing.
Yes, this is a goal where we want to reach.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, to really start using dynamic pricing, you have to have lots of data inputs that are going to make the price fluctuate. And what we are doing now is actually that we are gathering data
Mm-hmm.
to build the algorithm
Okay.
that makes the price change.
Okay, so based on the data, and the data is based on, is it from the event organizer's point of view, or is it the users that are actually, let's say, buying the tickets and using
We are actually gathering the data from the user's side
Mm-hmm.
to maximize the revenue for the event organizers.
Okay,
To sell even not the last one, but one before the last one,
Okay.
the highest price.
okay. So talking about the team, that is obviously the whole company depends on the expertise that you bring in. How did the team form, and what's the story behind that?
Well, I first started I tried to build the algorithm by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I started to discover that we actually need real data
Mm-hmm.
to make the algorithm work. That's when I started to find other people that might help me with building the system. So I joined with a developer to develop the system further, and then we realized that IT isn't something that easy, so we
Yeah.
just sit here, decide to do something, and it's ready the next week. So we started to develop step by step, building the system, adding new features,
Mhm.
testing the features, getting feedback from the organizers. What the organizers have really helped us
Okay.
to improve the system, to build the system in a way that they like.
Mm-hmm.
We have been sitting down with them before the event, during the sales period, and after the event to get the feedback and try to make changes in the system. So it would be like it would solve their problems better and even give them features that they never had before.
Mhm.
And this is how
The conference will begin when the next party joins.
You can go ahead. Sorry, I'll just stop you there. I just realized the audio was off. So we have the recording going on both Join Me and Facebook. The Q&A has just started. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down on either on the chat on Facebook or on Join Me in the chat section. So you were talking about the team, basically, how developing the IT, it's not a simple solution, so how did that basically take place?
Then we actually started in the summer of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of August, one legendary Estonian organizer, Arne Valmis, sold the first event.
Through using Silverticket?
Yes,
okay,
correct. And this is actually was quite basic system, but we learned a lot about what Arne wanted, and Arne gave us feedback daily. He called us. There were many marketing issues.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know how to actually assess the marketing channels.
Okay, from his side or through the application? So how did that work?
He never had a key or a tool
Mm-hmm.
to assess them, to see actually how much money comes from which channel and how to optimize those channels.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how we solved the first event. We got a lot of ideas what to do, and we started developing the next version, which we launched a year ago.
Mm-hmm. This is the second version that's described in the campaign overview, or is it before that?
This is before that.
Okay.
This is which we used the last summer and in the autumn. And then we sold about 15,000 plus tickets.
Okay. From a single event, was that, or from a number of events?
From number of
Okay.
events. We tried to get as many feedback as we were able to get. And then we started developing the third version in this autumn, 2017. And then Gert, the Keskpaik, has joined us to help us develop further, and he's been a great help because he really pushes hard. And, he's a great driver.
That's excellent.
To push us further. And now we have launched the next version with several test events. We have sold somewhere between 8,000 to 9,000 tickets during the last, I'd say, 5 to 6 weeks. And now trying to go further.
Progress further for the Funderbeam campaign.
And starting to add new features to that.
Excellent. I saw that a number of people have joined already, and noticed that, 1 second, we will also be, just for you to know, we'll be recording this session just so that you can later find it on Funderbeam, whether it's on our blog site, on YouTube, Facebook, and even on the platform itself. You'll have links from there. So let me also record this over here. Okay, getting the on this. As a reminder, just if you have any questions, Bjorn is also posting on the chat, but feel free to drop by your questions and we can address them as we're going further. So talking about, switching from the team to you specifically. So what is your experience with startups or managing companies? Is this your first experience, or maybe how has this changed you throughout the process?
Well, Silverticket has been something that has taught me many, many things, and especially it's because of the quickness or rapidness of just changing and new issues that needs to be solved. Because if an organizer starts public marketing and starts to sell the tickets, then they are going to need 24/7 support, and they are trying to contact basically me
Directly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's been really hard, but at the same time it has taught me really many things. And this is also a reason why I see the company not so much as a startup, but as a already running company, because we have we know the problem that we are going or trying to solve. That's not something that we are trying to launch a product and then we're going to see if it's successful or not. But we're going to we already know what the problem is, and we are like trying to shape the product more suitable for the organizers.
Okay.
Getting feedback.
So trying to refine it basically that it meets more of the organizers' needs.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So in terms of the ultimate vision that the company has, maybe for you personally, but overall as a company, what is this vision, or what's the ultimate goal that you're trying to achieve?
We are trying to build a system that actually solves the organizers' problems and gives them a monetary win through the marketing channel efficiency data and also the dynamic pricing to maximize the revenue and sell out the venues. Okay.
So as in speaking locally, or is this something that, how far has this need been expressed? Obviously you've worked, I assume with the organizers, they're local organizers, but how do you see this product fitting on an international market?
We have sold 2 events in Helsinki.
Okay.
And we have seen that in Finland the competition is rather like a normal competition.
Okay.
And it is much easier to actually enter to the Finnish market than to enter the Baltic market. And we have also seen that as people in Finland already know that there ain't one main channel to buy tickets, but there are like many different channels. They don't search for the events from a ticket seller, but through Facebook or through Google or through other advertisement channels. That is why it's actually easier to enter the Finnish market. As we expect to make more impactful entrance to Finland, we are trying to capture Swedish organizers.
Okay. So starting from the neighboring sort of countries and then sort of growing from there.
Yeah, we're trying to grow like country by country, and to learn the specific needs of a local market.
How, talking about the specific needs of the local market, do you see that this differs heavily on the region that you are in? Or is it mostly that it's pretty much the same industry, there's very clear needs on what this industry needs? Like how does it differ from country to country? Or maybe to add to that, what are the biggest challenges when switching from one country to another?
I guess that the biggest challenge is might be the difference of the audience on the target market or the people, because as we don't have any data, we can't say that the crowd in, let's say, Sweden will act the same as they do in Estonia. So maybe if we build marketing efficiency analysis in the local market, then it might not work the same, let's say, in Sweden. And I believe this is why we have to approach event organizers one by one, not going...
Not just firing basically on just by trying to have a direct approach.
To make sure that we actually can operate in the Swedish market with the same system.
So beyond talking about the vision, now coming down to the funds, obviously the funds will help you in a number of ways. One of them is actually to fund. Could you talk a bit more in detail about how these funds will be used?
funds will be used to accelerate the speed of development
Mhm.
and to develop some equipment that will support the software
Mhm.
also on the menus. And this is the main use of funds. The goal of using those funds is to actually reach or to grow and develop the system to the level that it needs no further funding but can
Okay.
live from its own
So that
revenues.
basically then you can pick up to a point where it's self-sustainable and
Yeah.
growing from there.
Exactly.
And when talking about reaching this event, based on the information that's on the campaign, it seems like it is basically the funds are more to accelerate rather than to enable. So how do you see that these funds will actually accelerate this process? Is there a timeline that you have in mind by when you should be self-reliant, that is, on the sales that you make?
I actually believe that, I should actually say that the goal is to reach the level during this high season, I mean this summer.
Mm-hmm.
This is the goal. Of course, we can't develop all the features described in the overview this fast, but we are trying to reach the level of revenue
Mm-hmm.
to fund those developments further.
Okay. And this, so as I understand, it's also very much dependent on the seasonality of things.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And usually, presumably, it's summer where most of the events take place.
Yeah, most of the events take place in the summer and in December.
Around December.
Yeah.
Yeah, around Christmas and
Yes,
holiday
exactly.
seasons. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the investors, right, what is, at the end of the day, it matters obviously the exit strategy, or rather what's in it for investors. So what do you see benefits? Why do investors benefit from joining this campaign?
I believe that we know that the market is huge. Our target market is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
And we are giving the investors an opportunity to join us in conquering this tremendous market.
Yeah.
But as you can see from the financial projection, then actually the market size or the market share targets ain't so high to
Mhm.
reach the break-even point.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Just a small pause. Again, just short reminder, if you have any questions, leave them in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or on Join Me. We'll also, as mentioned, are recording this session so you can see this later. So if you have any questions, you can also drop these by later and have either call directly with Remo or myself, and we'd be happy to go in this. So talking more, jumping back to the funds, that is, you mentioned, okay, you're raising funds, you're already generating revenue. So how do you generate revenue, and what are the different revenue streams that you currently have?
We are actually providing, basically we're providing a white label solution.
Mm-hmm.
It means that an event organizer can sell tickets through their own webpage,
Mm-hmm.
and they can either use our dashboard and shopping cart
Mm-hmm.
to sell those tickets, or they can use their own system and use only our payment links.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
this is how actually the revenue streams divide.
Okay.
There might be some event pages that sells tickets, and Silverticket doesn't even.
So event organizers can essentially use your technical solution without the front end, so to speak, without the UI
Yeah.
of it. Okay.
It's like an external payment solution.
Okay. And then for ones which actually just need the whole service, they can use your system to build a page, put the information there, and also have the payment solution integrated.
Yes.
Okay. So your target audience here, it seems that it's mostly event organizers when we're talking about it, in the sense that people don't come to your platform to buy tickets, but rather your platform is used by event organizers so that then other people can go there and purchase tickets.
They can market themselves and sell the tickets by themselves.
And how has the reception been so far? Right, obviously there's been different versions of the application.
Well, to use the external payment solution, it needs the organizer needs to have developers on his side to put together all the system, the shopping cart, then send out the tickets afterwards and scan them, or however they would like to control whether the tickets are actually
Is being sold or
yeah. And in case of internal payment, they are going to add an event or create an event, and they are going to sell the tickets through our system, and we are sending out the tickets, and you can scan those tickets through our scanning application, and that's the main difference. So there ain't many organizers using the external payment solution, but since now there has been, I believe, 3 of them, and all of them have had mentionable proportion of the whole revenue that we've had. So this is a solution for other really big event organizers.
So in terms of talking about also not just investors but beyond, let's say people who know Silverticket, who know the organizers who use Silverticket, is there a way how, besides getting investors on your platform, how people can actually support you, whether that is by spreading information about Silverticket, or maybe, as you had also mentioned in the campaign overview, part of the funds will be using to hire people. So besides, there's obviously hiring people, the kind of people you're looking for, but how can people support Silverticket?
People can mainly support by creating events. They can even sell tickets to their own garden parties if they want. But actually, we do need an expertise in marketing. Marketing, which is really important issue in the Baltic market in those competition conditions. And also entering the new markets definitely would be easier to enter, let's say, Swedish or to approach Swedish or Finnish or Norwegian organizers through connections. And I guess this would be really
the ideal way to create support for the company. You mentioned very interesting that it's so your focus is very much on big events, right? But it's also for someone who wants to have a garden party. It's as easy to have tickets if they want to have it that way. But so what would be the difference for someone who's, let's say, a small event organizers as opposed to a big one?
I believe there isn't much difference. The big ones to the huge public marketing campaign, and this is why those things might be, I would say, they capture more attention by the public, and this is maybe why a big event organizer might want to have a stronger support. But I can say that since now, really, there is not much difference if someone sells, let's say, 50 tickets or they sell 5,000 tickets.
And are there any upfront costs, let's say, that differ or anything like that?
Exactly. The other point is that as the revenue grows, the costs doesn't grow because the system is fully automated. And actually, there is not much difference if they sell, let's say, 10 tickets or 10,000 tickets for us.
For the organizers themselves, do they have to pay an upfront fee to to use the system, or is this just based on the tickets that they sell?
Yes, the Silverticket fee is only based on the revenue of tickets sold.
Okay.
And you can actually add it to the customer side, or the organizers can pay
For the fee itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So, talking about a bit about the competition, or rather, obviously, it's a market that is, let's say, if we take it on a global market, there's a number of different companies that are doing similar things or within the same space, and you have a very, let's say, I don't know if I would call niche approach, but a very specific direction that you're heading. How do you differentiate yourselves from the competition, and what keeps you sort of distinguishable from them?
As we have had feedback from the organizers and tried to, develop the system further to solve their problems and give them additional tools. I think this is how we are going to continue. We're trying to approach the big event organizers, try to learn what they need, what they want, try to develop it, and I believe that the smaller ones would find these features actually suitable for them also. And this is why we're heading and